Louisville on a Friday night, absolutely beautiful, fantastic host city. The libations, the lip, and of course the running for the roses. It's great to be here. Great matchup for you. Clemson taking on WVU in the first of two semifinals for the College Cup. Unfortunately for the Mountaineers, they have a key piece missing. Let's get down to Marion Crowder, the Georgia Bulldog, the former standout, has an update on an injured Mountaineer.
Exactly, Dallin. West Virginia will play the semifinal matchup without their star midfielder, Luke McCormick, due to an injury to his ankle that he suffered in the NCAA quarterfinal round. And while his playing abilities will be missed, there's no question about it. It's his leadership role that will have the biggest impact. And Stratford gave high praise to that leadership improvement he's made over this season, saying that he can be the biggest energy taker or the biggest energy giver. And he has chosen to be the energy giver more often than not. But guys, I expected to see him in street clothes today. He did complete the warm-up, and I confirm they are hopeful to have him back for the final on Monday.
Great stuff, Marion. Let's get to the lineup from Dan Stratford. Creasdew replaces McCormick.
That's the biggest change here you have to watch is within the midfield, because McCormick is energetic and he stretches the field. He gets out of the central locations. Creasdew, different profile, ball into feet, but how does it affect the overall shape? That comes down to Olakainen and Ryan Baer. They have to provide support. So much distribution coming off the back line and pace for Clemson. Do you have to chase, or are you going to sit and bide your time? The Clemson Tigers, Mike Noonan in his 14th season. Guess what? No changes. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Usman Silla up top, Pop Marboy on the back line, beautiful. But this is one of the most potent attacks in all the country. Can they be stopped?
They haven't been recently. 6-0. They've outscored their opponents in the tournament. Colleen Radisov is our center official. And we are moments from kickoff. West Virginia, the first time they've ever been on this stage. Clemson hoisted the trophy just 2 years ago. And we are underway from Louisville. This Mountaineer team winning all three of their games at home as the 5th seed in the tournament. Went down 1-0 to LMU and then won 3-1, beat Vermont, and then they beat the hometown team, if you will, from here, Louisville, in the opener 1-0. Devin, in terms of this game early on, maybe not so much with tactics, but just with emotions, how does Clemson's experience play, if at all?
Yeah, tactics are kind of out the window at this point in time because both teams know each other so well. You've gotten this far because you've been efficient and stuck to your principles. So what does that look like going forward? The nerves. Just put the ball on the deck and let it do the work. Don't let all the noise around you. Play the game, not the moment.
As Dan Stratford told us, and then eventually the ball is played out. Alex Meinhardt was trying to turn the corner. And Stratford, as Devin just mentioned, play in the moment, not the occasion. Heard some coaches mention that. Sir Alex Ferguson, the great Manchester United coach, is credited with that historic line. Or they cited him, I should say. And there is Stratford in his 4th season. Was a really good player at WVU in the previous era when they were really good back in the Big East. And then he went on to coach at Charleston in West Virginia, D2, 2-time national champ there after he took over for Chris Grassi. Grassi moving on to Marshall, and now he's got his alma mater in a great spot in their 4th season in a College Cup for the first time ever. Coming off an Elite 8 in 2021, but a very down season in 22. And now they're back to where he wants them to be. Undercut Silla, went under Fernando, no call.
Let's see how much they move Silla tonight. You know, the front line for the Clemson Tigers, Alex Meinhardt, Tyler Trimnell up top on the 9 right now, and Usman Silla. You will see that 3 fluctuate, but to have the most success for the Clemson Tigers going forward, at least down the stretch, we've seen him out of the pocket, out on the right foot or on the left, and the reason being, you get him with the wing back or one of the central midfielders coming forward, all of a sudden, he's not back to goal and you're trying to play off of him. He's on the half turn or forward facing. That allows you to be more aggressive in the attacking front.
Tyler Trimnell played to his feet. Sean Smart, the sophomore, working on the ball. Back to Brandon Parrish, 2nd team All-ACC. Came back to Pop Marboy, 3rd team All-Conference, freshman team member of the conference as well. Adam Undergard able to maintain possession. Meinhardt lays it off for Arthur Duquesne, the freshman, lining up across. He's got Trimnell there, and flopping at the back is Jackson Lee, the keeper. Clemson maintaining pressure. Parrish touch heavy, leads to the feet of Marcus Caldera. Sergio Orz-Navarro turned over. Gael Gibert, the transfer from Oregon State.
Forward!
Play to Silla.
One of the main points for Dan Stratford against this Clemson team was dealing with the press and how aggressive they can be. So Lundegaard comes off the back line, and now all of a sudden, you got 7 different players from the Clemson Tigers that were just inside the top of the 18. Easy, in theory, for them to step in and get on the end of it. Great step up by Jackson Lee. 9 shutouts in the country. That's 7th in the nation for a top 5 attacking team. Do not sleep on the defensive front. Carlos Hernando, Max Broughton, transfers brought in by Dan Stratford, have been pretty consistent for the final run of this season.
Good thing Jackson Lee got a hand on that, because Tyler Trimnell was waiting on the doorstep.
Good, get higher, Trent, get higher. Get up in there.
Trying a big switch to Smart. He's able to corral it. That's back inside. Smart trying to turn the corner, and the help finally came. Taro Sukata on the ball, newly minted 3rd-team All-American, former JUCO All-American as well. Marboy. Reinhard pops it out to Duquesne. He was trying to skip past Thomas DeCotney. Not too fortunate on that. And mentioned Clemson's pedigree. Mike Noonan this is a great program, but he's continued to take it to new heights. It's their 2nd College Cup in 3 years. He's been here before in 15. They won the Natty in 21. They won the ACC tournament this year. They won the ACC tournament in 2020. They continue to bring home hardware. 3 players on that team in 21 are part of this team. Usman Silla, as we mentioned, Brandon Parrish, and Mohamed Say, a grad student that unfortunately is dealing with injuries, but will maybe feature and give them something, the talented attacker from Spain. And Naruel Kynan laid out, and they'll maintain possession.
A different team, though, right?
Yeah.
And as much success as they had, 3 overall and 2 within the starting 11 here tonight. Usman Silla on the front line. Matt Kerman, semifinalist, All-American, and Brandon Parrish within the midfield. Great to see him happy and healthy again. But the counterparts they're different. They've got guys that have been here in West Virginia and Dan Stratford, right? So it's easy to make the comparison to a team that's just 2 years removed from a national title, but more players on this West Virginia squad that were a part of that 2021 Elite 8 run.
Radisov says play on. Meinhard's lining it up. It deflects out, and Lee's able to save a corner. Good hustle from the keeper as he blasts it out. You mentioned guys they've been here before for West Virginia. Not to the College Cup, but to your point, they've been experienced. This team of 2021 got themselves to an Elite 8, and a lot of those guys were on the field and were part of that this program and building it with Dan Stratford. And then they had their struggles in 22, and they rebuild again here. It was interesting talking to those guys about 22. When you look back at that team, what was missing?
A part of it is pride, right? And you have a program in West Virginia that has such a great year in 2021. All of a sudden it's, wow, this is what it's like to be up here playing with the big boys, right? But then you become the hunted. People start to recognize your talent, and they put the target on your back. And that's not easy as a player to handle, Dallin, because every time you step onto the field, you're getting everybody's best. Whereas maybe you were catching people sleeping a little bit. So that wasn't the case for West Virginia in 2022. I would also say everything that could go wrong for them did go wrong. It was a poor result to start the season against Pitt. They were slow to get into games, giving up early goals. They dealt with the injury bug all season long. Some of that's actually quite similar to what we're going to see from a Notre Dame team that experienced the same type of slip-up. College Cup attendees in 2021, shafted in 2022, and yet back to the Final Four in 23.
That's interesting. Both teams have different experiences in terms of what happened in 22. As you mentioned, WVU's had some unfortunate luck, but also handling that target on their back. They did not do a good job of it. They told us that the other day, and they felt they kept looking in the rear view versus looking forward. So this year's offseason, the spring of 23, kind of resetting themselves and refocusing and committing to each other, looking forward and understanding what the expectations were, and now they're back here at this point. Let's get some, I love I love alliteration, my friend. Devin's download. Your keys, my friend.
Well, you don't give me much, so I had to take the drop off the buck. Right? Well, you win the auto and you bear down, so it's a play on the lotto, right? Oh, Alakainen in the midfield and Ryan Baer in the absence of Luke McCormick. That's more responsibility centrally. You got to hold shape, you have to hold possession, but you also have to be aggressive going the other way. Luke McCormick so good offensively at helping the front line. Christou is going to be more centrally located, so that comes down to Otto and Ryan in the midfield to step up and help going forward.
See why Sakata's special, and can he complete the ball? No, Andema's off his line. But Ors Navarro was tracking, and Joseph Andema, the sophomore keeper, who took control of this job about a month into the season last year, has not let go of those #1 gloves. Smart play.
Notice where the ball came from, though. It came from the central midfield, and the ball comes out, and this is the thing we talked about with Sakata coming into the game. Get him on the front foot, get him facing a back line, give him a little bit of space. He'll take a mile. He can do it all on his own. He's that talented. Love the distribution, though. As good as he's been over this stretch of games, 9 goals in his last 11. Remember, Yutaro Sakata still has 9 assists on the season and is very good at finding his teammates moving forward.
Sakata's 6th in the nation in points, tied with 33. He's been absolutely outstanding in a great run of form. He scored 7 goals in 9 games. He scored in every game of the NCAA tournament they've played in. Max Brodny, English native. Out to Cotney, the Frenchman. Very international flavor from this WVU team. Only one American-born player in Ryan Baer. Clemson, very international as well. 3 Frenchmen in the starting lineup. A couple from Senegal, Ghana.
Trim inside, trim inside, trim inside. Yeah, inside. Behind you, Brandon, behind you,
Broughton head up, looking for Caldera. And Andema backs off. Caldera will get there. Takes it off. Getting the feed. And Andema's there.
It's difficult to find a pattern for the Mountaineers because they give you so many different looks. So we've seen one-on-one on the sideline. We've seen him try and play through the middle. And now all of a sudden, there's the long ball up over the top. Back 3 from Clemson. Got to be very cognizant of where the second-team All-American and Marcus Caldera is because he makes you think. Makes you feel uncomfortable. He's got speed to burn. The second he gets in behind, that's on Adam Lundegaard to chase, and then Potmore Boy to slide over and provide support and coverage.
They're out to Smart. The marching band is here. A little atmosphere now. Nice tackle there by Jorgensen. Actually, that was Fernando. Yutara skipping forward, cleared out by Gibert, and will he go into the book? He will not, and the coaching staff for WVU can't believe it.
The shape on the inside for Clemson lends itself to really one holding midfielder. We'll give you more about that in a second, but after Sakata on the left or Ors Navarro on the right, when they cut in, all of a sudden the back 3, you got to make a decision. Am I going to go and step into the space and try and slow him down, or am I going to let the game come to me? Again, one of the most difficult things to do is mark Yutaro Sakata an open field of play. I don't mind the step, just have to be cleaner and careful.
27, Jael Gibert is working through this. He's limping pretty heavily. The Frenchman came a little worse for wear with the tackle he just put in there. Baer, back to Broughton. Cotney.
Dallin, you pointed out the limping from their freshman center back. They just told number 23 Titus to get loose, get warm after seeing that limp.
Thank you, Marion Titus Sandy Jr. up off the bench. Keep an eye on that. He's deputized in different games throughout his career, big spots in tournament games, ACC and NCAA. Picked off by Olakainen. Caldera. Cotney stepping forward. Well done by Meinhardt. Gonna break the other way. Former American Conference Player of the Year at Tulsa, transferred into Clemson this year. Joran Gibert, the transfer from Oregon State, looking for the switch. Can't get there. Olakainen, well done. through WVU, Dev. Let's get your download on the Tigers.
Well, the Tigers are very impressive on the attacking front, but this comes down to three things. We'll stick with the alliteration: time, tempo, and transition. There's going to be a time where they have the ability to step. How quick can you do it? And what does it look like transitionally? Because the space will go, you go quick, but how many players are going to go? You take those chances, you also open yourself up to a very talented team that Dan Stratford and the West Virginia recognize. We're going to have our moments when they come at us to punch back and get in behind.
Oh, good feet, and this drag down. It's crease two. And it's an aggressive tackle. Radisov must be taking a look at this. Should that have been a yellow?
I'm a little bit surprised from our angle in real-time play that he's not pulling yellow here. Watch the arms. Lenegard recognizes the fact that he's been beaten. A little five-hole action. And then just...
Five-hole on a horse collar.
No,
That's a 15-yard penalty.
Respect whatsoever for anything that's been put forth. It is interesting to note that Mike Noonan at times called this West Virginia team transition. Probably more so than Dan Stratford would have liked, and I was a little bit taken back by that as well, because they are very impressive. Holding the ball, moving side to side, taking them about 10 minutes to get acclimated into this game, but very patient. You see they show you a lot of different angles and ask a lot of guys to get involved moving forward.
First set piece in somewhat of a dangerous area. Handled well. Silla uses his body nicely. And Lee well off his line, the grad student George Mason, Perth, Australian native. First team All Sun Belt Conference keeper this year. Kind of quite a bit of space. Look at his head up and turn. Crease two. Caldera. Jorgensen. Dane pulls it back. Broughton on the ball. Captain of the England U17 team in his younger days. Cotney cuts in, looking for the big switch, picked off by Smart though. We're gesticulating. What do you want to see right there?
I thought maybe that popped off the hand of Sean Smart, but you know, Clemson is trying to find a way right now. They started, I mentioned how they were kind of going to a single pivot underneath. They almost created a diamond across this midfield, and we're allowing Tyler Trimnell up top, but defensively, West Virginia doing a really good job of working Tyler Trimnell. He's laboring in front of us. He's tired. Mike Noonan recognized that positionally he's having trouble keeping up with the game, so now Silla's come down to the midfield to try and see if they can get another body in to build quicker going forward.
Clemson gets their corner kick. First one of the match. It's what they're one of the best in the nation at. Fourth in the nation in corners, just over 7.5 a game. Gibert is sometimes a handful as you see the center backs trot forward, 27 orange, 3 orange, and 2. You see the reinforcements just crossing the 18 there. Gibert to take it. Another transfer from Oregon State. Third team all conference, plays it in low, falls to Silla. Headed back across by Lundergaard. Center back kind of misplayed it. Caldera is able to get it up to crease 2. Dispossessed though. Gibert striding forward. Got it working hard. Takes away from Silla, no call. Good feed.
Two touch. Move it. Good call. Move the ball. Move the ball. Pass it out. Pass it out. Find Jaron.
Working out tight spaces. And Smart's run off the ball by Olakainen. Junior from Helsinki, Finland, can't believe it.
Well, the good news for the Clemson Tigers is Mike Noonan is off his bench and out of his technical area. That's also very bad news if you're wearing an orange jersey tonight. He wants them to move quicker. Sean Smart gets bailed out a little bit here. He tries to make the touch in behind to explode down into the corner. Too many touches, too much time to process what's going on in front of them, but incredible work rate by West Virginia right now defensively. Creating overloads, 2v1s, 3v2s, not allowing Clemson to get comfortable on the ball.
Harris to take, and now the center backs come forward again. Joubert scored their opener against Stanford in the quarterfinal match. Back post. Broughton, though, gets there first. Duquesne, the freshman from Amiens, France, trots over to take it. Scored in their match against Charlotte, the opener for them in the NCAA tournament. Their round of 32 game at home. Joubert. Lundegaard started every game.
Good ball.
He's worn the jersey for Clemson. 40 for 40. Duquesne now open. Opportunity maybe. Falls to Tribnall. What a save by Lee. Think he got a boot on it. And I think it's Jorgensen down in the middle of the box. He may need some treatment. It is Jorgensen, the junior from Denmark, second team all Sun Belt. Jorgensen.
Mike Noonan was asking for Clemson to be a little bit quicker, and you know, this is the stuff that we talk about, the aggression. Lundegaard coming off of the back line. He actually wins the first ball and then immediately sends it down into the channel. So many different options here for Clemson. That's why they've had the #1 team offensively in the country over the past couple of weeks. Goal after goal, but great defensively, and what a move by Jackson Lee sliding back across.
May have been almost an own goal, but Lee was there, got his boot on it. And Mountaineers able to clear their lines. And Dama, the sophomore from Ghana, Montverde product, basically a direct pipeline from Montverde to Clemson, it seems. So many great players have come from there, and that connection, that relationship has yielded, say, a lot of fruit for Mike Noonan?
Just a little bit. Mike Potemka, Montverde, and everything that they've been able to pump out. Just seems like they wear the color orange and purple, right?
This is Montverde product. Sean Smart can't cut it back. Caldera. There gets it out to Ducatini.
Just a little switch here for West Virginia, trying to get Marcus Caldera on the ball a bit more. They usually do it later in games, but not able to find their target. Second team All-American up top. They brought him a little further to the outside. Now that allows Yutaro Sukata to come to the inside. The difference is that's actually his starting point. The idea would be is once they pivot centrally, now you've got a 4-man midfield, and you have the ability for Konstantinos, Christou, and Sukata to play off of each other. The most important thing, though, is you still have to have a presence up top to challenge this back three. Stretch them, give yourself space so that you can combine like this.
Kynan versus Field. Into space. Caldera comes short. They're out to Jorgensen. Headed down though. Shot! Just north of the goal. Christou. We'll take a break here for a second. Tell you about tomorrow. We got a huge college hoops day coming up. #1 and 2 on ESPN's airwaves in the men's basketball side. Top-ranked Arizona hosts Wisconsin, who is playing really well. #23 in the nation, has 2 great wins, one at Michigan State, beat Marquette recently. That's out in Arizona, the McHale Center. Then second race, ranked Kansas hosts Missouri. Always raucous at Allen Fieldhouse. It's a bit of a rivalry, but the Tigers have not won that matchup since 2012. They've only played it a handful of times, though, in those many years, as they are no longer conference mates.
We talked about the band earlier, by the way. Any requests for the band tonight, or did you stay away from the song list?
How about all night long? Lionel Richie?
Good with
We're
that.
here for 2 games.
Yeah. Certainly not happy birthday. That's in the Oregon State game. We'll get there.
We will get there. Oregon State, Notre Dame to come up next. Some news broke last night. We'll get into all of that. And the underdog story that is Oregon State. 3 games won in this tournament, all against seeded teams on the road to get here. just over halfway through the first half. Your thoughts? Anybody got an advantage right now?
I do like the way that West Virginia is starting to move it more side to side. And defensively, Clemson's having to come deeper. They're struggling a little bit on this offensive line of finding their press, but strategically, they are able to get in pressure, which is a different look.
Meinhardt just dragged down, I imagine. Yes, there's their first card of the match, and rightfully so. Meinhardt, the prolific goal scorer, senior from Estonia.
What you run into, though, is if you're Clemson, it's good that you win the ball. It's good that you start moving the other direction, especially with Alex Meinhardt, ball at his feet. Love the ability of him moving into the final third, trying to find his teammates, but he only had Usman Silla centrally. This team, attacking-wise, at their best. 6 separate players up top to help. That's a good look at Luke McCormick. We talked just a moment ago about trying to get Utara Sakata centrally, rotating Marcus Caldera out. This is what happens when you lose Luke McCormick. You lose the ability to have that multifaceted player on the inside that can fulfill all of those roles.
He's a 4-time All-League player, twice where they were part of the MAC conference, now twice as the Sun Belt Conference member. Huge missing piece. Marion told you about the energy he brings to this team, leadership. Usman Silla does the same for Clemson, but that goal that shot's a little high there. And Silla, Mac Herman Trophy semifinalists. Congratulations to him. McCormick may be available for Monday if they get there, but you feel for him, and he was, you could tell he was pretty gutted yesterday, knowing that he'd probably not be able to take part in this game for a guy that's meant so much to West Virginia soccer.
5th year that has seen the change in regime. Marlon LeBlanc, prior to going to the Philadelphia Union organization, was the head coach that recruited him, brought him in. Now it's Dan Stratford, and you lose the leadership side of things too. When things aren't going right, who's going to step up?
Speaking of step up, you got a lot of white jerseys getting forward here, but eventually the Tigers are able to transition back. Jerron Gibert was upset about the spacing there and the turnover, but he didn't even sprint back. I mean, they flew right by him, but they didn't get penalized for it.
Speaking of leadership, by the way, I did appreciate the candor from Otto Olakainen talking about Luke McCormick, saying, well, it's easy to talk about him. He's 35 years of age. He's been here for 20 years.
We sat down for like 8 seconds, just shot fires and fired immediately at the old man in the sea that is Luke McCormick.
But immediately recovered and said, Luke's the guy that makes us all feel like we have to be better people and better players. He drags guys with him. That's one of the key assets that you lose without Luke McCormick. Though all of them also quick to say, we've got a little bit of that in all of us. We just got to put it together. Luke has it in one body.
Sakata cuts in, tries to float it toward the spawn, looking for Caldera, headed down. As Navarro eventually dispossessed to the feet of Silla. Oh, nice turn. Ridden out by Broughton, and the foul's going to be on Silla. And he's down in pain. Broughton is a big physical guy, 6'2", junior from England. Transferred in from SIU Edwardsville, and you do not want to see Usman Silla on the deck right now.
We talked about the aggression of the Clemson Tigers. How about the back line for West Virginia? That's Max Broughton, the left footer, Carlos Hernando. Both transfers coming in. Broughton from SIU Edwardsville, Hernando from William Carey. Very different back line than what we saw in 21, the Elite 8 team, and certainly the 2022 squad. You throw in goalkeeper Jackson Lee and Thomas Ducotny, 4 out of 5. Really new acquisitions for Dan Stratford, but they've gelled quickly. And they've had a very impressive season, and that gelling aspect for the Clemson Tigers. Usman Silla started it years ago. He was part of that 2021 national title winning team.
And you see Silla on the deck. And that was interesting yesterday, how Coach Noonan responded when Marion asked Coach about Silla and said, well, because of COVID, he ended up coming to college instead of trying to go pro. And he got emotional and shed some tears. And I think it made us all pretty emotional too. What college is all about is to come here, to grow as a person, to get an education. And that's what Mike Noonan is, an educator at heart. To see this young man standing up, I hope he can continue. But the big picture is on the cusp of being completed. He'll be graduating here in a matter of days. And that's what really matters to this young man's life. He will go play professionally somewhere, but now he has that piece of paper and this experience at Clemson that was truly special.
Dakar, Senegal comes over. Montverde product, another one. You'll probably hear that a lot tonight from the Clemson sideline. But all ACC freshman team, second and 21, now an All-American. A lot of pressure on him, too. You know, for the ability for this guy, because of his skill set, to go pro and yet to stay, get your education, and fulfill both sides. Brilliant. Taxi.
Not brilliant. Zakata off the beautiful board here at Lynn Family Stadium. Just a quick update here. I'm just to let you know what's happening Monday. We got coverage of the NCAA Championship continues here with the Men's College Cup. Monday, December 11th, 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. We have the final. For more information on the NCAA Men's College Cup, log on to NCAA.com, the official home for all 90 NCAA championships. And got a sub there in the mix. Kyle Leonard comes in for Thomas DeCotney. Leonard, the redshirt sophomore from Charlottesville. Redshirt senior, excuse me. My boy controls it. Silla is back on the field. It's good to see, because that brunt, he took all that force on his body from Broughton, who's listed at 167. I ain't buying it. That's like listing you at 210. Yeah, sure. That's just not how it works.
210 in my life.
I know you're having the beanpole.
Yeah.
Also, he's not wearing shoes again here, folks. I don't understand the deal that you have no shoes on in the booth, but he doesn't stink. That's good.
Who knew? 20 minutes into the national semifinal, we're going hygiene and
it seemed to be necessary at this point.
Okay.
So you and Joe Jackson, baby. Our great stats guy Dan over here was unaware you were shoeless, I think, until that point. Now he's concerned, as he should be.
Dan's not inviting me to Christmas dinner, apparently.
We will be going to Louisville Slugger Bat Factory, right down the street here between games. You've got Taylor Tannenbaum, Mike LaHood, and a great crew giving you some coverage, some great features around the town of Louisville, as well as previewing the second matchup, Oregon State Notre Dame. So don't go anywhere in between games. Got you covered. Underguard. Sean Smart, hand up, hoping the lefty can make the switch. Is that what you wanted?
I wanted that ball right there. I wanted that ball quicker, and that's one of the things that's been the issue for Clemson over the last 15 minutes is not taking what the game's given you. You know, the structure defensively for West Virginia is set. Keeping the game in front, tight on their marks. You have that 5-yard ball, give it. You don't need to knock it 45 when 5 or 10 will do.
Good ball whipped in by Smart, but headed out by Hernando. Zakata. Turning Parrish inside out. Puts the ball up to Caldera. A little bit of nervy defending. The Tigers prevail in the end. Jibbe, Pac-12 Player of the Year last year with Oregon State, who, yes, is in that second semifinal today. Transfers into Clemson, third team all-conference here in the ACC this year. Trimnell charging forward. Taken down, no call. Parrish. Duquesne wanted the through ball. Rolled over to Jibbe, excuse me. Nice through ball to Smart. Trying to clear, but not. Close to the feet of Jibbe. He'll give it a hit, and just north of the goal. And Lee is furious.
It's the #1 no-no as a player you learn from quite a young age. You're going to clear it. Do not come down Route 1. And Jibbe almost grateful of the assist from West Virginia. We've seen him hit it from that distance this year. Only 3 goals on the season, but all from about that distance, 30 yards out plus. Is the engine within this entire midfield that has had such a great complement next to Brandon Parrish. Funny, because Mike Noonan talked to us early on this season about, I know we're going to be good, I know we're going to be talented. I just don't know what our ceiling is, because I don't know what the overall basis and philosophies are going to be. Now, they've got policies that they abide by, and it's every single year. They've really only added one in the past, what, 10 years, he said, right?
20 years, yeah.
But he didn't know tactically how they were going to play. And yet all of a sudden, you know, 10 games into the season, we're looking around going, you don't know how to play, and you're sitting almost atop your division. You're a top 25 team.
Well, that was the thing, because remember, they were picked to finish first in the division, first in the conference, not just the division, and that didn't start as easily as we would have thought. I mean, they lost at home to UCF, who turned out to be really good. They draw UNCW, South Carolina Presbyterian, but they've told us the turning point was losing on the road at Notre Dame 3-2. At the time, Notre Dame, we didn't know what they were going to be either. And then they're down 1-0 to USF, and in the locker room, you heard the voice of Gael Gibert coming to life. What's a W may come to life? Popmar Boy running all over. Right at the Sukata. Can he cut it on the right foot? Leaves it back. Low ball save, and Dama. Woo! Ors Navarro had arguably the best chance of the match right there.
This has been the evolution of West Virginia as the year has gone on. Mike Noonan called them transitional. Respectfully, I get where he's coming from, but the reason he says that is just how quickly they move together as a unit. 30, 40 yards out, it's not wide open spaces, it's the commitment on the attacking front by multiple guys to continue this move coming forward. It's Sukata, Christou, finally starting to find Caldera, by the way, to have a presence up top and occupy at least one of those center backs on the back line for Clemson.
And they will make the sub during the right before the corner here. Ryan Crooks, the senior from Oxfordshire, England, grew up in the Oxford United Academy. He trots on and replaces Christou. First corner of the match for the Mountaineers. 14 minutes to play in the first half.
Move up, move up.
Whipped in. Potential transition moment. Good job to break that up. Sukata actually did that. And Undergard goes out.
Love to see a player that, for all of his accolades and numbers, 25 yards and in on the offensive side, he works his butt off. Defensively, he just chases, has such a big engine to constantly find a way to make the opponent feel uncomfortable. Yutaro Sukata.
And out for a goal kick. To follow up on Sukata real quick, because third-team All-American now, first-team All-Conference, scoring for fun as recently. What do you make of his prospects as a pro? What does the future look for him in a professional sense?
There's two good sides about him, right? The first side is going to be certainly just his individual capability. He can play in combination, ball at his feet, wide open spaces. You know, the downside is, and it's just the current structure of the MLS Super Draft, we're going to see that in about a week and a half's time, is international player. So that will affect his status. So we have seen teams over the past couple of years willing to step out and take chances, if you will, on guys in the first and second round, as opposed to passing and waiting, because you don't want to pass on a guy like this that you can work in a 4-2-3-1. He could play within the midfield in a 4-3-3. You can get him onto the front line. Basically, the versatility aspect on him, you do not want to let him slip down the draft board.
I mentioned Tokyo, born and bred, came over, went to Daytona State College, Division II school, junior college, was an All-American there. You got Mohamed Seycheks in the match. He was third-team All-ACC last year, dealt with injuries all year, and that was a man down. There's a claim that Sey popped Jurgensen in the face. And Sey is a fifth-year senior from Spain, dealt with so many injuries throughout his career, but he's played in huge games. He's logged a lot of minutes in his career. And we'll see, and now Boubacar Jallo, the third official, being brought in to see what he saw.
It's a little high.
It is reviewable with things of this nature. Now, some conferences had experimental rules this year. This is a violent conduct issue potentially, so the referee can go and review that for disciplinary matters. And that's what Kalin Radosov is doing right now.
And the hand is a little high when it comes to the contact. Would say that the first look we got a bit more aggressive, and the second one that turns you catches more on the side. This is the first look. Watch the hand up, looks like it's around the throat. Now the other angle almost feels like it's like the central part coming off the collarbone, which is basically mid-chest. Both fouls.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be subjective as to what the referee feels.
Well, what do you
how
feel
aggressive that is? It's a foul. Move on with it.
Okay. Yeah. But we'll see if any disciplinary matter can be. Kalin Radosov has a hand motion to Mike Noonan, but and there you can take a look at what can be reviewed. And this is a disciplinary matter and violent conduct. or potential violent conduct, I should say. So,
remember, by the way, can't review a foul. So he's only reviewing the violent contact, which it's not going to be.
yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Throwing it in. Here we go. So after that, all that to say, Mohamed Say has been around the block. He's playing now his 82nd match for Clemson. Dealing again with injury issues this year. He can give you maybe 20 minutes, maybe 30. But he played in that 2021 final, scored in the ACC final back in 2020. So he can give you a big-time moment, the 6'3" senior, graduate student, I should say. Jabay trying to get out of trouble, rides the challenge into trouble. And Smart takes out Sakata, no call, we're going the other way. Silla. Thought he was going to play Duquesne, he played it back to Lundegaard. To the feet of Say, you see that big physical frame, but he's got good feet. What does he offer differently than, hold on 1 second. Reinhardt out to Smart. Drives it in. What does Say offer differently within this for this team than, say, Trimnell in that similar role?
Trimnell, more speed-based, transitional, on the diagonal, help drag players with him. Say, you can play into him. So the good news is for Usman Silla and Alex Meinhardt, they want the ball at their feet, but they also want the ability to float a little bit. If you make them the main piece up top, that's not a good look, because you don't want them back to goal. You want to have the ability to run at players, to make the defense find themselves unbalanced. Say up top provides that. You come into his feet, you can come deeper, just like this with Usman Silla. Watch Meinhardt start to float a little bit more too. The question's going to be is defensively, if you get this high, you're okay. If that starts to go on in the middle of the field, that's easier on the transition for West Virginia.
Dara chested down nicely. Crooks. Off the half volley, Potmar boy wins that race. He'll win most of them. Long ball headed down. Sakata picks up the second. He's got his head up. This might trouble Lundegaard. It did not. Parrish to Smart. Meinhardt. For Smart again, who will get there. There, stepping forward, the center back. Tried to switch it out to his French connection out there to Duquesne, pulled him back a bit. We're under almost at 9 minutes here from Louisville, Kentucky. College Cup semifinal number 1 alongside Devin Kerr. I'm Dallin Cuff. The 5-9 matchup, waiting in the wings. Oregon State unseeded against Notre Dame. Smart clips it in. He's the head of Say. Where's Navarro? Digs it out. Parrish, good control. Say trying to get in the path of Smart. He'll shoot it! Oh! What a cracker! Are you kidding me? Sean Smart breaks the deadlock. His second career goal, and couldn't come at a bigger time. He's been marauding up and down that right flank all match. And then a moment of brilliance.
Dan Stratford worried beyond belief about how this press was going to look. It subsided for the last 15 minutes. But this is where they are very potent coming forward. Down into the corner. You make them make a bad decision, you collect. And then it's just down to the one-on-one. You asked me what Mohamed Say provides you. Actions speak louder than words. Beautiful ball up top. There's your post-up player, the prototypical number 9. But absolute class from the smartest player on the field. Off the outside of the boot. Beats Jackson Lee near post. Incredible strike. Form, timing, tempo, but in this situation, patience and the lead for the Tigers.
Wow, what a strike.
Guys, I have never in my life seen as many oohs and ahs than we just saw from the Clemson bench. The number of guys that had both hands over their mouth, just standing waiting to see that replay one more time, just to make sure it was as good as they thought the first time, and then just utter disbelief that indeed it was.
Yeah, you ain't lying. Me too. I almost jumped out of my seat here. Almost kicked Shoeless Joe. Everything was happening.
And another Mon board, as we talked about earlier, right? They're all over this field for the Clemson Tigers, as if Sean Smart didn't need more confidence. Sat down with him yesterday, the one-on-ones, group of 6. Guy just oozes everywhere. Feels like he's always going to be one of the best on the field. You just got a real good reason as to why he carries that type of positive mentality.
I loved hearing from him yesterday, because we had a big group from Clemson, probably 7 or 8 guys talking, and he's young. He's 19, hasn't even turned 20 yet, as you see what they've done in this tournament. But the confidence he carried, it spoke a lot within that group. But we did ask him, because they told us about that turning point of losing Notre Dame, coming back against USF. Said Notre Dame's on their side of the bracket. Would you prefer? Would you want another shot at them? Very wry smile,
yeah,
but a very political answer from the 19-year-old.
We'll take who's ever
Next game we're focused on now. We'll tell you whoever.
Sure, buddy.
He said it all in his face, and Gael Gilbert was right there too. They didn't want to allude to it, but it was clear they need to win this game, and then they want the Irish next.
And we've seen some changes from West Virginia for 21 to 23. We talked about that, but this was part of the tweak that Mike Noonan wasn't exactly sure what it was going to look like early on in the season. They started in a 4-back, and Sean Smart was having to come from very deep positions. So the benefactor coming into this positional change tactically is you bump into 3, you get a back line that's willing to distribute quickly, and there's so much pace going forward. You get Sean Smart, who's very gifted 40 yards and in, especially down into the channel. More space to operate, higher positions, and in this situation, a magnificent finish.
And Smart feeling himself now. Oh, he got clipped hard. And he is down, rolling around. He's dealt with injuries this year, too. Do not want to see that. He's up now, goal scorer.
Let's see the response now from West Virginia.
Yeah.
You know, recognize that you've given up a goal inside 10 minutes to go. A team that started to feel comfortable, and as the tactical changes up top, Mohamed Say has come in. We've seen them tweak themselves a little bit. Now all of a sudden you wonder defensively, what is it going to look like? They weren't quick enough to respond. You've got to provide yourself some confidence. An equalizer is great. More importantly, you have to have the ability to get back into this game.
All right, we got some bodies down now. So Smart was taken out. That was a really high challenge on Smart. He struggled, he got to his feet, he went back down, and then they were trying to appeal to Radisov to stop the game. They didn't do it, so then Brandon Parrish took matters into his own hands and just cleared out Crooks. We're gonna take a look at Smart going down first. Just caught him a little late.
Pass.
It still hurts, no doubt about it, but then Crooks is still down, both receiving treatment.
Give Ryan Crooks a lot of credit, by the way. Ryan Crooks, you know, when they started the game with Konstantinos Christou in the 10 spot, but again, in the absence of Luke McCormick, you have to find a way to recreate different visions that would come from the Englishman and 5th-year captain. Ryan Crooks has had to do a lot of work from a deeper lying position, normally coming from the wing. And he understands this space. He's just a little bit late to slip back over into it. And to your point, I promise you, it doesn't look like much, but temperatures in the mid-50s, it's moving at a real high rate pace. The little clip off the boot hurts for sure, but this didn't. Absolute class from Sean Smart. Magnificent strike. And, you know, he knew right away, the second that he played this ball into Mohamed Say, the touch was where he wanted it to be, high away from everyone. More importantly, it drew the center backs in a little bit closer for that tiny window to open up and Smart to step into.
Remy Okunlola has entered the game, the freshman from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Very good young player, but usually plays higher up the pitch. He's in that right back spot, or right wing spot, I should say, for Smart, right midfield.
That's right, well done. Come on, Mo, central.
Silla limping his way back.
Apparently foreign language classes being dished out in West Virginia.
I feel like I'm in London though, but a little bit of the accent is coming through. That is the native country of Dan Stratford, the Mountaineers coach. And Colleen Radisov, the official here, their thoughts.
Just quicker here. Clemson's defensively started to pull themselves deeper, and so as you set yourself, you got to make faster decisions right now if you're wearing a white jersey. Closing off a lot of the balls coming through the middle with the amount of personnel they've started to eject centrally. So if you're going to go to the outside, that's totally fine. It just has to be quicker. So Crooks he works hard, drop it into Ryan Baer, take a touch, hit it. You've got to start to survey the land faster so that you can make better decisions.
And they're smart on the bench. Okalolo came in for him. Looks like he will be okay. Jabert plays it out to touch.
Don't take this much, okay, please? Come on! Wake up! Wake up! Take space! Take space!
Kind tries to combine, does just that. Looking over the top of Crooks. Well. Turn by Crooks and over in the corner. Well done.
Hey, Moise in! Go higher! On the mark!
Crooks to take the corner.
Move out!
Came in low. Off the feet to Say. Say credit with the assist off his head to Smart. Good ball. Head over the back. Crooks now has a chance to make a circle box again on that right foot. He does just that. Back post. And Caldera couldn't get there in time. Interesting sub here. This young man is uber talented. Nathan Richmond checking into the match, the sophomore. He's dealt with injury issues all through the second half of the season, was third team All-ACC. He hasn't played since the end of October. That game against North Carolina State was his first game missed. He did feature against Stanford for a few minutes last match. Very talented kid, the son of Richie Richmond, who was part of that '87 Clemson National Championship team. Great pedigree, the sophomore from Atlanta. We'll see what he can offer.
The instruction that was given to him was work that left back, the left back being Max Trethway for West Virginia.
Trethway checked in about 6-7 minutes ago.
That's the profile that you get out of Nate Richmond, though. It's a bit more linear in nature, speed for sure, but he does make you work. He makes you feel like you never have enough time. And credit to Nate Richmond, who wasn't a part of the starting plans earlier on this season. Came in 2022, the #1 player, ranked player, coming out of Georgia in the Atlanta United IMG programs. Worked his way in. Another one just like Sean Smart, that as they tactically change themselves, just give it a bit more freedom up top.
He can be pretty electric when he's healthy and has a little more time. Undergard brings it down, under a minute to play. First time ball, might fall to Richmond. Dinked it over the top, looking for Say. Should he try to just fire away on that one? Go for glory again?
You tell him that. Ball bouncing over the shoulder.
Hey,
he's moving away with it to then bring it back across his body and challenge the 6'3" goalkeeper.
After Garnacho's goal from Manchester United, I think anything's possible.
Well, I would still go back to what Mohamed Say is capable of, coming off their national title winning season in 2021. Opened up the season against Indiana. He showed us something. I'm sure that Mike Noonan's looking for a little bit more down the stretch here, as he was impactful on the assist. It's going to take a lot more against this West Virginia team come the second 45 minutes, who they're looking for a level of comfort. They've gotten that. Now it's time to gain some confidence on the attacking front. Top 5 in the country. but put to the sword the opening 45 minutes by Mike Noonan and the Clemson Tigers.
Clemson 9-0-1 when leading in the half this season. In the Mike Noonan's career, 102-5-7. Marion is down at the touchline with WVU coach Dan Stratford. Marion?
Dan, you give your kids a lot of freedom to play, and you always tell them to recognize what the game's giving you. What was Clemson giving you in the first half, and how do you exploit that in the second?
The capacity to establish possession, for sure. So, happy with that aspect of what we've done and built some confidence into the game. Honestly, a little bit disappointed that there's not a few yellow cards in Clemson's area, honestly. The two centre-backs, I think, or two of the three centre-backs will probably be on a yellow card at this point, and it changes the way that we get to attack at that point, especially with some of the threats that we have. So we've got to keep believing, we've got to keep being the team with the ball, and trust that we're going to get some opportunities.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Second half, just moments from kick. 1-0 to Clemson because of that man, Sean Smart, with an absolutely amazing strike. Marion's down on the sideline with the Clemson coach, Mike Noonan.
Coach, we were just talking about how physical of a match it's been so far. How does that favor your team, if at all?
No, I don't think it does. I mean, we need to have the ball, and we've got to do a lot better with it. We've got to be a lot quicker with it. That's the issue is that our decision-making is really, really slow.
You've also been preaching over here on the sideline to move, telling your midfielders move, want the ball. Is that what your message was in the locker room?
Absolutely, without question. I mean, we've got to play, and we can't play back to front. That's not our style. That's not our team. That's the way we played in the first half.
Lastly, brilliant goal from the confident man who is Sean Smart. What did you have to say about that goal, and can we expect to see him in the second half?
Yeah, no, he's coming back in the second half, and it was, it's a sensational goal, and I'm happy that we got it.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Sure he is, Coach, and as I said, that'll probably be on SportsCenter tonight. It was an absolute beauty of a goal. Second of the season for Smart, and that's got Clemson just 45 minutes away from playing for the College Cup final on Monday night. Alongside Devin Kerr, I'm Dallin Cuff, Marion Crowder, as you just heard, down on the sideline. Devin, what'd you think about Mike Noonan's thoughts to Marion?
I would agree with him. Yeah, the first half from both of these teams was timid. They were afraid to make mistakes, and we talked about them being better in the final third, but I was actually very critical of the fact that just the decision-making overall. It feels like a national semifinal, and that they're just worried that if they don't do something special, it's not going to go their way. Take the simple routes, just do it quicker, right? And then when the moment presents itself, when the artistry can come out 30 yards and in, then go have a little fun and test the defensive front.
Both coaches are saying to play quicker, to make better, quicker decisions, and you're talking about a little bit of being timid in this kind of setting. Is that on the players to communicate? Like, how do you get over that as a player in a stage like this?
Yeah, to me, it's go send a message, right? Whether it's one quick chance, if it's a long ball like that, if it's a big tackle, it's someone from your team setting the tone. Because for the opening 30 minutes of this game, there was a lot of stuff that was just players meandering around on the field, not willing to get out of their comfort zone.
Let's see what can happen here. As we mentioned before we went to break, under Mike Noonan's tenure at Clemson, it is pretty crazy in terms of their record when scoring first. 102-5-7, when leading at the half. Marion has more from the sideline.
And Devin, to your point, I actually was speaking with Mike Noonan for quite some time before we talked about his halftime interview, and I looked at him and I said, where's the rhythm? And he said, I just don't know. I feel like we're playing scared. I feel like they're playing frightened, and they're playing outside of the lines that we gave them. And so that was also addressed at halftime.
See if those guys take that message and move forward. They have the 1-0 lead, but this WVU team knows how to come back. They did it to Marshall, the #1 team in the nation. Came back and won 5-2. At the time, the team was #1 in the nation. One of the more impressive wins in the season. Cut inside, low ball driven, played out by Pop Marboy. Shot just wide, and Damon was there. Sukata threatening a bit. Handled well by Gibert, but 5 feet criminal, and that was a handball, and Callie Matisov sorts it out, says it was Clemson ball off of Frederick Jurgensen, second team all Sun Belt Conference left back. play it into the channel and couldn't connect. Turned over to Parrish, second team all-conference player, striding forward.
Just give the ball, man. This is, you know, if you're Mike Noonan on the sideline, you can only do so much. And for Brandon Parrish, as clean as he is in the midfield, he's got to play that right out to Sean Smart and let the attack continue.
Now he's put himself, the team's in a tough spot, and Dama called into action. Caldera was looking for his 13th goal of the season.
This is what happens, though, is if you don't take that easy route that I was talking about in the first half and the start of the second, guys expect you to play that ball. When it doesn't come, that natural movement is to the outside. Yeah. Well, now you've allowed Sukata to have the brunt of possession on the left. You have allowed runners to get up there with him. This is where you get yourself into trouble. Take that little 5-yard ball and continue the movement. Otherwise, West Virginia is going to be more than happy to take that real estate.
Third corner of the match for the Mountaineers. Not a very good corner. And no offside given. Ball does go out to touch as Sukata was working. He wants a corner. He's pleading his case. Alian Radisov just says relax and move on with the match. Dama, Pop Marboy. Nice ball to Parrish. He does get it out to Duquesne. Silla. Rocken's got his head up. Fernando, Madrid native, strides forward. Lays it out to Sukata. Tries to get it to Caldera, flag up. Just couldn't hold that run long enough.
Bit better, though, from West Virginia. That comes down to Carlos Hernando, the center back from the Mountaineers, and his willingness to just step up into the middle, and you make the midfield make a decision. Crossing pattern from Marcos Caldera. Almost gets himself in behind, and of course, those boys, they don't really play behind, do they, Notre Dame?
Not much.
They set the tempo early in their second College Cup appearance, first one in 2021, unfinished business of sorts. Friendly reminder, by the way, that 2021 run, it was ended by these boys in the orange jerseys on the field right now. One would imagine that throughout all that banter and talk, I'm sure they would love another shot at the title, especially if the Tigers are on the other side.
We asked them a similar question, and they were pretty coy about it. They weren't as because this team, there were 8 players on this Notre Dame team currently within that 2021 semifinal. Will be featured in a little bit here against Oregon State. But it was the Clemson guys of this year that remember that loss and want another shot of the Irish. I felt you could feel that a little more, but it'll be interesting. And Dama's off his line to see if it does end up being an all-ACC final. With 22 of 23 years, there's been at least one College Cup team from the ACC. That conference has sent the champion the last 2 years, Syracuse, and then the year before being Clemson. His first 8 minutes. Not a lot of rhythm either way right now. What do you say? Did we start? The clock is ticking. No, yes, it is.
It's the same thing. You know, frustration just a second ago from Kyle Lehner, the right back from West Virginia, 26 in white. Good step up. That half second where you don't play it doesn't allow Sergio Ores Navarro to get into a good position on the diagonal coming down into the corner. And that's been the story for both of these teams, to be fair. The only thing that's come out of it is the fact that there's a mistake. from West Virginia. Brandon Parrish makes a mistake, and then it's just two really good movements, one by Sean Smart, the second on the ball distributed by Mohamed Say up top. That puts him out in front.
Say's now 3 assists away from the all-time assist lead in Clemson history. Getting that one today. And look, you could say it. The Shoeless Wonder just looked at me and said, "Wow, that's the kind of career Mohamed Say has put up."
Spend a little time in the rabbit hole, or is that just standard game note stuff?
It's in the game notes, but you know, I do some reading, and then we got to shout out Dan, reminded me of that. I asked, and he was right there on it.
That's it, Alex. Good. Good. Keep it here.
I stand corrected. 3 more he gets from touch. There you go. Okay. Your wow is rescinded. Okay. My brick. I said I read the game notes. I don't read the notes.
Shoot or shoot. They shoot. It's the double rim that got you.
Sometimes coach used to call me an average captain. That was an average play-by-play guy right there. Bear plays it to the feet of Ors Navarro. He was winding up for a shot there. Out to Sukata. He wants to cut in on that right foot. Working on the goal scorer, Smart. Bear turning back. There's Navarro, waits. Caldera there, flag stays down off the body of Poplar Boyd.
You think that as the field compresses itself, it's become more difficult for the West Virginia Mountaineers, but this is one of the looks that you get out of the profile of player in Konstantinos Christou. He's a guy, ball at his feet in tight spaces, that can really help break down these smaller passing lanes. You don't get that look out of Luke McCormick. Again, you want your 5th-year senior, you want your captain, but the individual side of it, combination play atop the 18, if Clemson's going to sit back, that bodes well for the number 10 from West Virginia.
Christou now getting talked to by Radisov, and Smart saying, not my fault. Christou, a Cyprus native, played in their youth national team, under 21, under 19. Let's take a look at the friendly exchanges. Radisov still talking to both players. We're still waiting. The clock has been running, so now they're going to stop it. And Dan Strafford's upset about the clock management situation. They may be adjusting the time. It looks like they are working on it. The 4th official, Leland Grant, relaying something. You see Grant talking to Dan Strafford, none too pleased right now. We've moved to 34-10, so we increased about 30 seconds, and now the ball will be played. In swinging, headed out nicely by Lundergaard. When a game is kind of stop-start in,
no rhythm.
No rhythm.
Yeah.
WV needs to find a rhythm. Yeah, what gives? How do we get out of this?
Patterns are difficult to establish. It's time to give a different look.
Kynan trying to flick it forward, and Dame off his line to claim.
Coming into the match, we addressed Luke McCormick, his absence in the 10. So Konstantinos Christou comes in, but I talked to you about this last night. I talked about it over the lineup that, to me, that's Ola Kynan and Ryan Baer in the midfield. Eventually, you're going to have to go do something on your own. So what's happening defensively for Clemson on the turnovers, they're coming back, and specifically in the midfield, keeping the game in front of them. The team at times does like to play quick. Mike Noonan very quick to point out Jackson Lee, their goalkeeper, has 2 assists because usually they pick up distribution and they go. That's not the case right now. So if it's going to be a little bit slower, that's the individual skill set. Go beat a player, drag a guy with you, make Clemson make a decision that opens up more space for your attackers moving forward.
Lost his cross. He's down hurt. Get back to his feet, just slow to get back on the freshman from France. On the jog again. Rotten. To Bear. Good fan support from West Virginia. You hear them pushing their Mountaineers forward. Sakata over the top. It might fall. It does. And oh! No touch from Andema. And Caldera's going to want that one back.
Couldn't even believe he was able to bring it down. And it's a beautiful ball in the little cutback. And how's your touch? Marcus Caldera has done everything right. Maybe the run a bit sooner, but does such a good job to just drop that in front of him. He's got to reach back for it, and as he does, ball on the upside. Everybody was beat.
No, that young man, second-team All-American, sophomore from Canada. He's got 12 goals on the season, but you talk about hot strikers and not. He has not scored in his last 9 games played since a hat trick in that Marshall match. That would have been massive.
What did we just ask for, though? You said, how does this change? How does the pattern change? You got to show something new. Someone's got to go beat someone.
That was all new.
We're 62 minutes into the match. That's the first time they've gone direct up over the top to Marcus Caldera, one-on-one with the center back.
Well, breaking the action, tell you about tomorrow. Huge games we have in men's hoops. The #1 and 2 team in action on ESPN, starting with top-ranked Arizona hosting Wisconsin. Wisconsin is not the slow-paced, unentertaining team you've seen in the years past. They're top 25. They're coming off some really big wins at 3:15 Eastern at the McHale Center in Tucson. Second-ranked Kansas afterwards hosts Mizzou. Always raucous Allen Fieldhouse. Should be a great afternoon hoops. All pay homage to Mentor. Cleaned out, and call is made now. If you're Mike Noonan, I know he wants to play. He was talking about pace and be quick. But if it is this chippy and choppy, you're up 1-0. Are you okay with that?
Well, you've got the lead, so you're happy. Yeah. Again, it just goes back to good decisions.
Yeah.
Right. And some of the balls that haven't come for them have been costly, because when you don't play it to the outside and the ball's down into the channel, or you elect out of the midfield to try and knock a 40-yard ball, when the 10 ball right to your center back to restart and go the other direction, it works.
Jabay to restart. Switches it out to Smart. Big pitch here at Lynn Family Stadium. 120 by 76, as you said. Proper pitch. A lot of space to work with. See Clemson first half, second half in terms of creative chances. Thomas DeCottney back in, the grad student from Lille. UConn transfer, checks in for Kyle Laynard. Mountaineers maintain possession. Otmar clears it out. Foul, chance to serve the box.
Solid sequence for Ryan Baer from West Virginia, though. Just trying to will this team to the midfield to start to pick up some of these passing lanes that are there.
Baer, the senior from North Carolina. Whipped in, handed out by Potmar. Kane battling, loose it to Jorgensen. Nice feet to keep it alive. Sakata skipping forward and pull back the foul. Got a soft plate advantage. Sakata working on Smart.
Quickly.
Kind of almost crowded out. They're able to get it out to Broughton. Caldera. Nutmeg doesn't come off. Smart able to somehow get it over to Meinhardt. All kind of skipped under his leg. Duquesne charging forward, full head of steam, riding the challenge. Still Duquesne. Can he get a cross off? He wants it on that left foot. Oh, it arrived, but couldn't really get his feet sorted out with Smart. Surprised to see him pop up on the box in that spot. Parrish. Trimnell. Smart combining. Late forward to Meinhardt. Strikes it. He was there all along.
Patient from the Clemson Tigers. Defensively just dragging a little bit on the inside for Otto Alakainen and Ryan Baer from West Virginia. And look how much they're just willing to sit here and let them have the ball, right? You want to take it, keep it, fine. You're not doing anything with it 30 yards from your own net. Shift them side to side. Take the easy one, put the ball on the deck. I have like what I've seen more out of that man right there, Ryan Baer. He's trying to find a way to be more aggressive on the inside, and he's found some rhythm.
Yes, Monday.
The question is, he's going to find the link-up play now.
And back to Broughton. That was Devin Kerr. I'm Dallin Cuff. Welcome into Lynn Family Stadium. College Cup semifinal number 1 here. Clemson up 1-0 after a beautiful Sean Smart ball, who just headed it down right there. Coming up next, Oregon State and Notre Dame in the second semifinal. Oregon State a debutante, Notre Dame back. Again, interesting shot, dipping, swerving. But Tsukada almost pulled out something spectacular again. And let's take a look at Tsukada. Oregon State, though, making their way here for the first time. As we mentioned, a debutante. They're coming off the bus. A little drama around this team. If you weren't here, one of their leaders, a third-team All-American, newly minted Javier Armas, will not be available. He should have served a yellow card suspension last match in the quarterfinal. He did not, so he's suspended today and Monday if they move forward. Their head coach, Greg Dalby, 4-game suspension. That's part of the laws, part of the rules. It's basically a clerical error on Oregon State's part to just miss that he hit his 8th yellow card and should have been suspended. Unfortunate for them, but they are here with everything to play for. They've been the giant killers all tournament long. 3 straight wins on the road against seeded teams as an unseeded team.
8 games unbeaten overall, too. 602 dating back to the regular season. They like to move the ball. Combination play is everything for Oregon State. Whether they pivot with their outside backs, specifically on the right-hand side, get their midfielders on the overload. Dante Williams up top working with Logan Farrington, one of the top strikers in the country, 15 goals, which is 3rd in the NCAA.
There's Navarro, stepping forward, strikes it, but just going to trickle wide. And sub again for Clemson at the last break. There he is, Nathan Richmond, back in the game. We mentioned him battling injuries, getting back in the lineup, 3rd-team All-ACC. We saw him the last really 120 seconds, 180 seconds of the first half, but coming in now for Trimnell with potentially more runway to get into the game. As you see WVU press a little bit harder forward. Going to go over the top to Meinhardt. Bear wins second ball.
Some of the decisions tonight from West Virginia may not have been great. I'll tell you what, I've enjoyed watching the two center backs play. You know, outside of the goal, which I get, it's 1-0, but it was on a rough turnover coming out of the corner. It's a worldly goal, too. It's a beautiful strike. Carlo Hernando and Max Broughton have been very impressive. For a lot of this game, they've eliminated Usman Silla. They haven't allowed Alex Meinhardt to be on the ball a lot. They've pushed the game to the outside. We've seen Usman Silla coming 40 yards from his own net to try and pick up possession.
As we mentioned earlier, yeah, we'll get to the goal in a second, but under Mike Noonan, when they score first, 143-11 and 12. When they lead at half, which they did today, 102-5-7. See if they can hold on to that. Meinhardt has some space, overlap by Duquesne, ball driven in low. Deal with it well. Underguard does step. Jabay on it. Richmond.
Just a little shout from the West Virginia sideline. Come on, keep moving. You know, allowing Clemson to maintain possession and work away from Marcus Caldera up top. He's tired. He's done a lot of running defensively.
For the feet of Silla, who's been quiet today. First team All-American, first team All-ACC. One of the starters in that 2021 National Championship side. We talked about Richmond coming in. When he comes in, he's playing more centrally here. What does he offer when he comes in for Trimnell?
Well, right now he is. Yeah. The idea is whether it's going to be Trimnell or Silla, Alex Meinhardt. Richmond will start. He'll try and get one of the players to bite, but then he comes to the outside. This is where I like him, trying to find a way just off the shoulder of Sean Smart, and you get this small little passage about 40 yards out. Especially with Silla comes in and you get Brandon Parrish to step all of a sudden. Four-man game in the midfield.
Meinhardt working, gets that left foot, saved by Jackson though. Almost a missed kick clearance that's saved. Where's Navarro? 20 minutes away, Clemson is from getting back to the College Cup final. Last time they were there, of course, they won in 21. 15 was their College Cup appearance before that, lost in the semis to eventual champ Stanford.
Good, Marcus, keep working, keep working.
Striding forward out to Sean Smart. WVU preparing a triumvirate of subs down there now. Change it up. What do you do if you're Dan Stratford? At what point do you we're going to see three other guys check in here. Do you change it up in terms of the approach to the game or just personnel?
Personnel right now. It's just got to be cleaner. It's got to be quicker. Like more pressure up top from Marcus Caldera, which leads me to believe that when you're bringing Jake Ross in from the sideline, it's going to give you fresh legs. Good movement a second ago from the Clemson Tigers, though, with Joan Jabay coming out of the midfield, just working side to side here. Again, you drag players with you. The initial idea from Alex Meinhardt, he wanted to cut this ball back across, but he didn't have any trailing runs atop the 18. You're going to give me the space? I'll go it alone. Just drags it across his body, but quickly, Jackson Lee set up perfect. Right on the near post. You come with power. I've got both my hands out in front of me. He's squared up to the ball. It's a good save by the goalkeeper.
Cotney still remains down. He's getting treatment. Almost every player is coming over for water, and they're also getting some extra instruction from both managers right now as we are over 70 minutes into the match, and really not a lot of subs through the course of this game. Cotney's got an issue with the eye, and looks like he may be bleeding as well. Let's take a look at Sean Smart's currently game-winning goal, if it holds. in the 37th minute. An absolute beauty of a strike, Devin.
It wasn't the best of clearances, not the best of touches by Brandon Parrish, but all made up for. The post-up play by Mohamed Say. Notice how quickly Olakainen was trying to step out there, and as the center back rotated over, hands behind, you're in a spot 18 yards out. You got to put more pressure on him. You can't allow someone like Sean Smart on the favored foot to have a goal. I know it's only his second of the season, but running at you one-on-one confidence and a great strike.
Second goal of the season gives his team the 1-0 advantage. Leinart comes back in for Cotney. Those WVU subs still waiting in the wings. Lauber's going to re-enter the match. Jake Ross, the freshman, for the first time we will see him. And Max Trethewey back in again. Tough ball played. Christou couldn't pick it up though. Smart. Oh, goes to space in the right wing there. I don't see him. Doesn't fall to Richmond. Good step from Lundergaard. Use his body by Broad to hold off Silla. Looking long, Lundergaard there again. Just lights up Horst Navarro. He was a little out of position. We'll see if he gets a card this time around. He's down in a compromising position.
Just not the best of touches. Great little step coming back through though by Sergio Horst Navarro. Surprised that with the absence of a presence up top in Marcus Caldera, again, they haven't been able to get him involved. Credit to the back line for Clemson, but that we haven't seen more from West Virginia cutting back to the interior. You know, some of that comes down to what I was talking about, willing to take chances. If they cut, then the space that's sitting out there, well, now you're looking at one of your outside backs to get involved.
Not a good ball.
Tentative to step up into that space, worried that the wing backs from Clemson are going to counter. Similar to this.
Clemson was trying to counter there, didn't come off, but Richmond's going to get it back to his feet. Good ball played up there in the channel by Duquesne. Puts it off of Leinart, and that'll go, oh no, it'll be a goal kick, okay. The inaugural NBA in-season tournament championship game tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on IBC and ESPN app. NBA countdown tips off coverage from Vegas at 8 o'clock. Pacers against the Lakers, and at nearly 40 years old, and who knows how much money LeBron James has made. He's still motivated by 6 figures to play in this thing. People have loved it. The ratings have been great. The court is mind-boggling.
It's interesting.
Oh, it's a scene, man. All those subs finally entered the match. So the match, Trethewey in, Lauber in, and Luke Ross, the freshman from Wilmington, Delaware, the Delaware Player of the Year, Gatorade Player of the Year, 13 in white, now in the fray. See if he can make a difference. Under 16 minutes, WVU first time ever in a College Cup. They don't want to exit in the semifinal. They're going to need a goal to stop that outcome from becoming reality. Trethewey on it.
Very good. Hold on.
Want a foul, they're not going to get it. Meinhardt goes down, he will get it. Alex Meinhardt having another great season. Former American Conference Player of the Year at Tulsa, transferred in. He's got 7 goals on the campaign, 3 assists in their last 4 games played, hooking up some teammates as they've rolled through the NCAA tournament.
2 years in a row that he was on the Matt Carman watch list coming into the season, and certainly the numbers followed him at Tulsa. How's that tackle from behind?
What a tackle by Ross. Could ignite a counter. Sukata on it. That's the guy you want. It tries to cut it back. And cleaned up by Parrish. Woo. Dispossessed. Richmond, though, almost turns it over. Maintain possession. The band back in the building. You got any requests? You asked me. Asked me in the first half. What do you want to hear?
Just keep him off the field.
All right, Stanford. And I feel like we've got a man down on the far side.
So guys, Thomas Ducatnes, I've been watching him and what the trainer has done. He's still dressed out. Hasn't been said whether he's available to come back in. Immediately on the sideline, the trainer put some type of balm on that cut, very similar to how you would see them try to do that for a boxer in the ring who is bleeding. The bleeding has stopped. His nose is bruised. The trainer did then go to check his temple and the top of his cheekbone. He keeps putting himself in a tunnel, his hands over his eyes, almost like the light is too bright. But again, he is dressed out, just seemed out of it.
Okay, well, thank you, Marion. Keep an eye on Ducatnes down there, the grad student from Lille, France, UConn transfer. But now you've got Leonard in there. You've got Ryan Baer on the deck right now.
They've just gotten him back to health as well. Thomas Ducatnes.
There he is.
Fifth-year player coming over from the Huskies, who, starting outside right back, injured. Whether it's been Kyle Leonard in there, Dante Huckabee has been the first choice selection, transfer from Louisville over the past couple of weeks. Dan Stratford was very excited to have him back. They have toggled him back and forth, certainly not at full 90 minutes fitness.
Let's take a look here. What happened to Baer? Oh, excuse me, this is Ducatnes, pardon me.
Ooh. Right across the nozzle.
From Leonard, yeah. Took the shot and then was down after the play kind of moved away from him.
Just a bit too predictable right now. Certainly from both teams, but for a squad in West Virginia that's got 13 minutes and change to go within this match. As they start to rotate on the back line, I would love to see Max Broughton or Carlos Hernando really start to come up through. Make Nate Richmond or an Usman Silla, whoever's on the front line, make them make a decision. You play around one of them, that's fine, but then the two outside pieces, if you continue to go to the exterior, they'll take it. Game's right in front of them. Simple little 5-yard run, and then you retain possession, but you go back the other way, and Clemson just shifts side to side. Got to make someone miss.
Turnover, dangerous spot here potentially. Flipped in, Smart there. Not a good clearance. Still loose. There's a shout for a penalty, not given. Crowd letting him hear it, and that is not reviewable. But their corner is given, and we'll take a look at it as Ross is still down, the freshman from Delaware.
I watched Sean Smart, the goal scorer. I thought maybe he was going to pick up his hand there, and that angle, don't see it. Watch the step right there. Again, neither one of the touches look like takes him down, right? That's hard to see, very difficult to see.
The first angle, maybe we'll take another look at it, but the ball is in play. And now for the 6th corner.
West Virginia corner kick. Be taken by
6th corner of the match now for Mountaineers. Floated in. Richmond's able to clear. Take a quick look from that other side again here, Deb. See what you. Ooh. You think no?
And the contact itself, the first part, I thought it was higher, right around the knee. That one lends itself at the foot coming through, right?
I think there's a legitimate gripe there, but you have these moments, and there is no VAR in that regard in college soccer. There were experimental rules in the ACC and other conferences this year, but you had to call the penalty first to actually see that. That was not in the national tournament. We'll see if they vote in rules and make changes to VAR permanently across the national landscape this offseason.
We also looked at it 3 separate times, and we're still not 100% of the way there. So imagine real time of play for a head referee.
And let's be real, the VAR situation, especially in England this year, has been a disaster. So it's not that always solves the problem. Smart. A little unsure of it again, giving it back to the Mountaineers. Scott working. Third team All-American.
Ryan Baer just has a load of space atop the 18 if they can find this square.
It's 23 in white in the middle of your screen. Gervais with the clearance. Cinderella running. He'll pull up.
Again, he's not your goal scoring option. Fourth-year senior doesn't have a single goal in a West Virginia uniform, but when you move that way and you're there 10 yards away, quick head up, come square, touch and hit.
Under 10 minutes, can the Mountaineers find a goal? Their crowd is trying to spur them forward. This is a Clemson team that only had 3 shutouts all year. We're really leaking goals, especially in September and October. They've had 3 straight shutouts now in the tournament. Has anything been different about this team?
To me, there are 2 main things. Number one is I like the work rate off the ball that starts up top in general. It doesn't matter how talented you are on the attacking front. You've got to be willing on turnovers, whether it's a high press, if you're in a mid-block, or if you're pinned down deep, you have to be willing to chase. You go tell Alex Minar and Usman Silla, watch out, we don't necessarily need you to score all these goals. We need you to do some defensive work. That's not an easy conversation to have. So I would say that's number one, but the communication is the second biggest part, because if the first play or line is beat, who's the next one to step? That's credit to guys like the freshman Pop Marboy in the back line, and that man right there, Adam Lindegaard, redshirt sophomore out of Maryland.
He got clipped there late. He's down struggling. Well, he's working on getting up. We will tell you, coverage of the NCAA championships continues with the Men's College Cup Final Monday, December 11th at 6 o'clock Eastern here on ESPNU. For more information on the NCAA Men's College Cup, log on to ncaa.com, the official home for all 90 NCAA championships. One other thing I thought was interesting from these young men when they told us from Clemson yesterday, I asked them the same question, what's been different? Some of the tactical stuff they talked about, but it was, again, it was Sean Smart. There is a laser focus. We are in tournament mode, where one mistake can be the difference. And ironically, he said that, whereas the mistake in terms of the clearance for WVU essentially led to his goal.
Scholar athlete, soothsayer, goal scorer. Sean Smart just continues to add to the resume. He's got to fill up that CV real quick.
He's got 2 goals now. That one, nobody's going to forget that one. 2 goals in his career, and that one was truly special. Richmond picks it off, gets it to Silla. Those 2 can be dangerous. Out to Meinhardt. Clemson really not pushing that many numbers forward here. Meinhardt might take it for a walk. He just does. Yeah, here he goes. Time is their friend now. They're in no rush to take that throw. More subs lining up for the Mountaineers. Caldera and Oris Navarro waiting to rejoin. Caldera, their tied for lead scorer with Sukata with 12 on the season. Had their best chance of the day, just couldn't score for pretty point-blank range. Tough touch and finish, went over the net. We're under 8 minutes now.
West Virginia substitution.
We mentioned where's Navarro, Caldera come in. Tyler Trimnell comes back in the match. He will replace Meinhard as Clemson gets ready to take their third corner of the match. And again, in no rush to do this. Good ball floated in by Duquesne, headed down, but Jackson there.
He wanted to go quick. Unfortunately for Jackson Lee, great recovery by the Clemson Tigers. We'll say just before this was hit, Patmar Boy, the freshman, coming out of Butler, shocking. Good communication behind him, just to make sure that everybody had the mark as he stepped off on the back line for the corner.
Caldera on the turn. Poked out wide. Sukata trying to get end line and cut it back. Good job by Boy. Smart will just clear it. And at what point, if at all, you start some Route 1 football? What do you think here? There are some big bodies on WVU.
I would be very careful if I'm Sean Smart to recover a ball and just start pinging it 30 yards with 6 minutes to go. You're just going to allow West Virginia to continue to advance themselves, and especially if you've given the guys on the front line a little rest. They've gotten direction from their manager. Now it's Oris Navarro. Now it's Christou, Sukata. Less room for them to run, but more space to work together.
There's that last chance, and the header down by Trimnell. Jackson was there to corral. Turned over. There's Navarro finding Bear.
Good ball.
Patmar Boy, the touch just wasn't quite there. And Richmond's going to be, so Trimnell called for the foul.
It's the perfect ball in. Just too far away, and Patmar Boy, one of the most talented freshmen in the country. One wonders how long he stays in Clemson jersey.
Put big Jake Ross up there, 13, who had the chance to ball at his feet, but at 6'4", maybe he can make a play with his head. Richmond tried to clip it forward to Trimnell. There's the turnover, and Silla will be on it with some room to run. Trimnell through the middle will try to play him. That's a good ball. Trimnell's on it. Jackson gets there and chops it back. Whoa, a lot of contact. Trimnell's told to get up. There's Hernando. And now the Clemson faithful have their complaints for a penalty.
A little surprised that he didn't try and go direct there with all the space and as high of a line as Jackson Lee is playing right now.
Roll through to Sukata. Sukata. Silla win that race. Oh, he goes down instead of trying to get the ball and try to take a foul. And now he's going to stay down. Stratford's asking for the clock right away to be stopped, and it will be. Radisov was on it. I want to take a look at this potential for shout for a penalty on Trimnell. What do you think, Dev?
I don't know why he didn't, again, why he didn't hit it further? No. No chance whatsoever.
People will see this right hand on his back pulling him in a kind of...
No, that angle, it looks like he drags him down, but I'm telling you, his momentum's already spilling that way.
Okay.
The player's just there. It's a 50-50, they're locked up. Arms are away from the body for sure, but there's not enough from a referee to point to the spot.
This is former center back Devin Kerr.
He's already leaning, and he just continues to go. Also recognize that the pitch gives way underneath him. Yeah. I do maintain, and I've said this to you all season long, every time we work, you're going to call it in the 3rd minute. You got to call it in the 87th minute, you know, 9th, 90th, whatever you want to do. That's not a foul in any area of the field at any point in time for me.
Okay, good. Unequivocal, Mr. Kerr. 3:47 to go. Clemson just minutes away from getting back to a College Cup final for the 2nd time in 3 seasons. Dante Huckabee looks set to check on. Transfer from here in Louisville. And yes, he will join. He's a Morgantown native, played in the Union Academy, and he just completes the throw in. Was injured all of last year, sat out for Louisville with that injury, but now started the last 5 games for WVU, just getting into this match for the first time here. Duquesne hooks it forward. Trimnell trying to work to control it, can't get there. Hernando back to Broughton. Richmond trying to bring it down, can't. Now he's on it, he can run with it. He's got Hernando in front of him. Nathan Richmond. Again, turns a good step. Hernando doing some great defending. It could lead to an opportunity the other way as Tigers are a little stretched right now, and you get it out to your talisman, Sakata. Sakata, good step by Gibert.
How's the defending, boys? Both ends.
Wow.
Quality tackles. Quickly, don't let them organize if you're West Virginia.
Passing 2:30 left. Desperation starting to mount. The crowd can feel it. Pinged out wide. Settle. Ball played in. Nobody was arriving on the back stick. Duquesne's going to try to let it run. Did touch, will go out for a throw. Huckabee on it. To Bear. A lot of bodies in the box. Doesn't serve it. 120 seconds left. And if you're new to college soccer, there is no stoppage time or injury time. At 90, this is over. Play forward, clock continues to run. Radisov backs up Huckabee, and that clock keeps on ticking. Driven in. Ooh. Parrish back there to defend. Gibet heads it out. Broughton, big center back looking forward. And the foul called. Tsukada upset. He may earn himself a yellow here. He is in Radisov's face. There it is. On the second yellow of the match. That one for dissent in the 89th minute. It will stop the clock. Trimnell's limping it off. And Dama looks like he will take the kick. Then he rolls it up to Popmar Boy. And the clock is now running.
1 minute remaining in regulation.
We are under 60 seconds. Joseph Van Dama letting his guys get forward. And here's why we got the yellow. Sakata goes ballistic. And the card was right there quickly. 45 seconds. Tigers bench entirely up right now. Winning the ACC tournament, looking to add the national championship tournament to what will be a magical season. Played into the corner. Trimble happy to let it go there and hold it up and waste some more clock. And it will be turned over. 18 seconds. WVU's got to go. Throw the ball in. And Duquesne's happy to do it. 3 shutouts all year, 4 in 4 games for the Tigers. Mike Newton and crew going back to the College Cup final Monday night. Can they win it again? Your thoughts, Devin?
They're gassed. Everybody down on the field in front of us. We said coming into this that a lot of this could nullify itself. Who was going to be the best on the night, and would have come down to a mistake, and that's exactly what happened. For all the offensive accolades that have come for the Clemson Tigers, most goals in the country, it comes from a guy in Sean Smart that's only got 2 on the season. This was his second. Again, the ball was deep down into the corner. West Virginia cleared it right down the center of the park. Brandon Parrish stepped up in, actually didn't make the best of connection, but as Sean Smart slid over, Smart by Mohamed Say to just hold his spot up top, played through him around the back line, Smart right through it into the upper corner. A magnificent strike, and on to Monday night.
An absolute beauty. for Mike Noonan. Sean Smart gets his second career goal, as you mentioned. And the Mike Noonan reunion tour will continue. He beat UNH earlier in this tournament, a team that he coached in his career. He played indoor soccer here in Louisville. He'll get to hang out for the weekend. We will see them Monday night. The question remains, who will they be playing for that trophy? Coming up in just 45 minutes, Oregon State, the Cinderella story of this tournament. 3 straight wins against seeded teams on the road. Down 1-0 to SMU, beat them 7-1. They're taking on the big bad Fighting Irish from Notre Dame. 8 of those players played in the 2021 College Cup. They both won it. They can taste it. Who's playing Clemson? Find out in 45. Let's go to Taylor Tannenbaum and Mike LaHood. After this break, they got you covered.